Hello, Sanbanani, Dimelang, Togozani, Pokogona Bunkulu, Togozani Makesha, Togozani Ma Africa. My name is Noma. This is Learning with Noma, your online comprehensive classroom where we are changing our lives one lesson at a time, taking a closer look at health, at finance, and at spirituality. If you like the content in this video, please click the like button. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any new content that has been uploaded on the channel. In today's lesson, we are looking at Ukuphahla. Pahla ke eng? Hobaneng re phahla? How do phahla re etsa jwang? And what do you say when you are doing the ritual of Ukuphahla? So let's start. Ukuphahla yini? What is Ukuphahla? Okay, Ukuphahla is communicating to your ancestors, talking to abogogo nabomkhulu. It's purely communication. Why do we phahla? For me, I believe in any relationship, communication is very important, same as the physical and the spiritual relationship. In order for you to understand yourself spiritually, then you need to have communication with the spirits that are guiding you. There needs to be a spiritual communication. So that is why we phahla, so that we can get, communication channels open between Tina and Abadala. Please forgive the background noise. I'm sort of like, in a space where I'm just having a little bit of audience, but it's fine. People want to learn about Ukuphahla, and that is why I'm here. So Ukuphahla, it's exactly that. It's communicating to your ancestors, and it's you understanding that communication is an open channel. You talk, they talk, you listen to each other. It's a two-way channel, and we need to continuously communicate with our ancestors. That's why we phahla. They must know who you are. They must understand who you are. You must also understand who they are. So why do we phahla, and how do I phahla? The way of it, we need to phahla in a sacred space. Most people have umsamo ekaya. What is umsamo? Umsamo is a place where you have created a space or a corner in your house where ukobeya or your snuff, your baby, candle is there, impepo yako is there, and you start communicating with your ancestors in that space. So umsamo, it can be inside the house in a room where you have allocated a corner or a small space, or it can be outside in your yard where you have a corner that is very sacred, where you can go alone and you can start talking to your ancestors there. Umsamo, again, when we talk about umsamo, this is a space that you're going to create. So when you create the space, you will put your candle, like I said, your snuff, your impepo, everything will be there. Other people batloka traditional beer to start Ukuphahla. They need pour for batloka beans, mabele, the nawa, all those kind of things. So umsamo is a very sacred place that you create, a setting, a space where you know that this is my GPS pin, my location. This is the pin that I dropped to my ancestors to say hello, I am here. When you need to communicate, or when you see me signaling to say come closer, this is Noma, this is where I am. And that brings me to the how of Ukuphahla. So Ukuphahla, the first thing that you need to do, especially if you are starting and you have just created umsamo wako, you will obviously cleanse your space using impepo, and then you start calling onto your ancestors. Firstly, you introduce yourself. So this is Noma, who is a child of who and who is also a child. So you will say your father's father, your grandparents from your father's side, and your grandparents from your mother's side. Introduce yourself, your mother and your father, and both your grandparents. And then you will start also, telling them the intention of you creating the space, or you wanting to communicate with them. And from there you start communicating with abantu abadala. But how do you enter into the space? How do we look? How do we dress when we enter into the space? We know that when it comes to our grandparents, dressing, the way you dress, the dress code is very important. So always, if you are a female, you will always have your skirt or your dress below knee. You will have something covering your shoulders. You will have a head wrap. We always leave our shoes outside of the sacred place, or maybe a distance from the space when you enter it to come and to Pahla. And then when we are males, we'll have our long pants, and with your long pants you'll have a jacket. You won't have a head, and you also take off your shoes and you start communicating with your ancestors. So how did Badimo? We go on our knees. It's just a sign of Ukuphahla. We so you have to to humble yourself. So your tone must always be low, even if you are stating a case of a space that you're in. It's a space of upset or a space where you are angry, but you don't raise your voice to elders. Those are some of the principles or some of the things that we have lost as an African nation. So you always come humbled. Your tone must always be at the right level, no matter how angry you are or what kind of case you are coming to state to them, but your voice must always be at a tone that is of respect. And then you lay your case, but I always say come into the space with gratitude first. For them being there, for them protecting you, even in cases where you don't even see their protection, because whether you believe or not, we all have ancestors. I mean, and that automatically becomes your ancestor. So whether but the other thing about Ukupahla that we need to understand is exactly that we need to acknowledge those that we know. So you will talk about diboko, ka dithakazelo jwale o bitse gore mina ngibithole ngikhetla ngihlangisa ngimsizi wa bitsa kaofela those that you know, so that they can come, and then you even end up telling them but I always say that it is very important also for you to highlight you must always call Modimo into your space, because when you light in purple, it's just a signal and it's going to call every Tom and Jerry to come into your space. So when I be specific and be very specific, how Pahla, and that is simply how you Pahla. Create your umsamo. We will talk more about it in a video that's going to come very soon, so that we can understand, because umsamo is not just limited to the physical. When we talk about umsamo again, remember what I've just said to you right now. That is again your umsamo. Umsamo in the piako, where you are rooted. So when we talk about when we are going again, I must be specific with is it from my father's side? Is it from my mother's side? If you look at my father's generation or my mother's generation, because but it's 5 generations down the line where something went wrong. And we need to understand what we are talking about. So umsamo that I'm talking about is just the physical shrine that you are going to make, or the physical altar that you're going to make to communicate with your ancestors. But umsamo wako uhamba nawo, umsamo wako is imvelaphi yakho. Where do you come from? So you need to understand first that, and then you can then start doing the physical setting. Because if you understand where you come from and who you walk with, you will then understand the type of structure that is needed for the physical umsamo that you need to do. They need water when they come to Pahla. Others is just a glass of water. So we all have different ways that we are going to set our umsamo. But the most important thing that we need to take home is that umsamo is a sacred place. Umsamo wako must be in a position or in a location where there's not a lot of commotion. In that sense, but we need to have it in a room that I'm the only one who's entering into this room. It's not a room that, you know, enters a lot of people. And I enter into this room, I close the door, without any disturbance, in peace. That is umsamo. But for umsamo, it's outside. And like so it will depend who you walk with, who are your spirits, and how are they guiding you. For some of us, there are, you know, corners outside of the building, because hamba nabantu who were more in the fields, so they understand the concept of being outside, and when you call them, when you talk to them. But still, it also needs to be a secret corner in your yard, where you know not everybody will just, you know, even when you've got visitors, so there's a party or there's whatever, not everyone will just drop into that corner, but it is a corner in your yard. And you can have your umsamo lapho there, where you also approach it the very same way you approach the one inside, or and you always go there part of Ukuphahla is Ukuphahla during ceremonies. So at the ceremony we will always ask for an example, if as Noma, my father will be a representative for my paternal side. He will be the one who will talk on behalf of myself to the ancestors, and then for my maternal side, my mom will have to speak on my behalf for my maternal ancestors. So and this is who she is, and this is what we do. But mama and never are communicated with your father's ancestors, your paternal ancestors, and your father will not communicate to your maternal ancestors. So if papa has an uncle, a grandfather will have to stand up. And on your mother's side, if mama has a Leo, you will have to have an aunt or your grandmother speak on your behalf. Remember, so Baba is not a direct, you know, lineage, and Mama is not a direct lineage. So always there should be a representative of that lineage. Same as you, if you are married, you cannot at your house when there is a ceremony, you talk before your husband for your child. No. Your husband will talk first about the child, and then you will then come and introduce yourself. Remember, traditionally in African cultures, when a wife is married into a family, they don't change their surname, because in this family it should be known that umakhumalo bekhona, or umanqonza bekhona, or umamtawung bekhona. There should always be that continuation of your surname in this family. That is why Bakhale mabitso abona mostly but your surname, you will always keep the surname. So only now with westernized things, where we have wills, we have contracts, we have insurances that are going to need surnames that are similar, for all those kind of things. But when it comes to ancestors, we are always going to represent paternal, father, maternal by mother, or a female in your case. And then another question that I've been having, this video, please do understand that I'm also doing it because of all the emails that I've been receiving regarding Ukuphahla. So I'm just trying to reach the gap with this video. The other question that I've been having is that people tell me, I need to phahla, but I need to go fix, and for me to fix umsamo, I need to go first in your phahla is. And that is why again I came back to say, if umsamo, I need to be specific. Umsamo wakho awulunganga, kumele silungise. Which part? My father's side, my maternal side, which generation? My mother's generation, her mother's generation, fifth generation from me. Where are we fixing? So that we know exactly where to come with this, because we are all rooted. So umsamo is that family tree. So the roots are there. The tree is still standing. Branching that is what umsamo is. So bathabang batla go phahla ko sangeni ko lata Badimo, or get the crossroads to ko lata Badimo. Yes, there are instances where we need to do rituals outside of the yard, and where we need to go phahla outside in the fields. And again, okay, with this question, it also comes back to saying, Gogo mina ngicashile kihirile, do I have umsamo in somebody else's yard? Do I bring my ancestors into somebody else's yard? let's understand ukuthi when we talk about umsamo where uphahla khona, this is a place where you are saying to your ancestors, every time you need me or every time I need you, please understand this is where I'm going to meet with you. This is my my location, sorry, my pin. When you know, Noma, where are you? No, I'll drop you a pin. And then you drive to me via GPS. It's exactly that when you do some for Itlosi. You are just telling them, this is where I am if you need me. So even if Ukashile, you will specifically say when you do the somewhere in your bedroom, it's just for you to know and for me to have communication with you. When we talk about Ukuphahla is Gangeni, for us to go and correct something and someone to fetch something, to go and leave something that needs to be left there, guys, you cannot call Isganga umsamo wako, because lapho each and every person can go. You don't go there every day, so you don't know what na mobani utlile kemang atlile. And when you also go as Gangen, you need to be under a spiritual guide, because you don't just go to a felt. There are specific things in the felt that you need to look for, where you will go and Upahla. For an example, Seholu, Motlayateng or Pahla, an ant house, you know, those big tough houses, Motlayateng or Pahla, because there's a specific ritual that you need to do. And even for us as healers, when you go there, you always look for the one that has not been used, because I cannot use Seholu. And other people, they do, you know, go frequently to Seholu Sabona, because they will always go there to Pahla and to do whatever. So understand and do not get out of Indumba without understanding the prescription that Ugogo or Umkulu is giving to you. If better go and your Pahla is Gangeni, understand your Pahla Lankos Gangeni. Am I fetching something? Am I going to leave something that I need to do? How do I approach it? If it even comes to a push, how am I now? Go and guide me. Let's go to crossroads, do the same thing, guys, because but they go to those spaces and you do different rituals. So you don't want to go there to your Pahla or your or you're going to do whatever that you're going to do. You light in pepolapo, you talk, and you don't know specifically what you need to say, where you end up bringing things into your space that are not even belonging to you. You end up instead of what is ilunge. You want to be specific, and you need to be under the guidance of a spiritual guide on how to perform rituals in such spaces. But yes, it is doable. Yes, it is a prescription that can be given under certain circumstances. And yes, you need full guidance in order for you to do it right. So Ukuphahla is communicating to our sisters. Why do we Pahla? Any relationship needs an open communication channel. How do we Pahla? Specifically, we need a candle, we need snuff, we need impepo. You need all those tools to help bring your ancestors closer to you, so that you can talk to them and they understand you, and you signal them and you tell them where you are. Where do you Pahla? Umsamo yini? Umsamo is a sacred place that you create, that you tell your ancestors, this is a pin, this is where we meet. Mina nani sihlangana la. And mawuphahla kumele ukuthi be specific, ubacele ukuthi bogogo nabomkhulu ngicela ukuthi kuvela amadlozi amahle, ngicela ukuthi ningisondele nina bokhokho nina bomkhulu. You call your ancestors, mabitla amatshala khale ewathi banosathi bembadimo badithabeng bametsing badinikeng badimo badithuteng. You call all of them for them to come and be with you in that sacred place. In that sacred place, mawuphahla ushaya isandla phezu kwesinye, uhla ulahla dieta tsa gago, o apara hantle, o bua le bona ngokusithoba. Your tone must always be a humble tone. You go down on your knees and ukhuluma nabantu abadala. So yeah, basically that is Ukuphahla, communicating to your ancestors and making sure that you keep open channels. Remember, we don't want to only, just like in prayer, you don't want to pray when you're in trouble only. Ukuphahla is the same thing. How you don't go to your grandmother's place because you've got problems. Usually we go to grandmother's place because we want cookies and all the nice things. But Ukuphahla is exactly that. You cannot approach abantu abadala only when you have problems. You must make Ukuphahla your habit. Involve them in your plans. You know, you're writing exams in December. Don't involve them the day before the exam and pray for, and you know, Upahla a miracle. Ask them now, this is what I'm doing, this is my life, this is where I am, and this is where I want to be. involve them in everything that you do. Bona ukuthi nezinto zakho angeke sikhanye, abantu abadala ngeke badedele bonke ubumnyama kuvela konke okukhanya, bawufela isedi bawufe khanya, bonkhulu kuntete omkhulu bawufe abundance of mahlohonolo. So hare phahleng, hashtag Pahla ntwana, hashtag Pusha, hashtag Bana Badimo, hashtag African Child Know Yourself, and communicate with your ancestors. Let's go back to our roots. If you found the content in this video helpful, please leave me with a like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and join the online classroom. Like I said, it's an online comprehensive classroom. We're learning with Noma. We're changing our lives one lesson at a time, looking closely at health, finance, and spirituality. My name is Noma. This is Learning with Noma. Until our next lesson, peace. Bye-bye.